Hey guys, in this video we're going to be talking about the new RunCam 3. This is a new form factor for the people at RunCam. It is a lot different from the old form factor here. This is the 120 degree field of view HD camera, and they also have a 170 degree camera wide angle lens. The same form factor, the same Mobius form factor. But for a lot of the mini quad flyers, this form factor, this cube form factor, is more convenient, and there's more mounting options for this form factor. So this is why they've responded to the market and come out with this particular style, and which I think is a good thing. So first, let's go over everything that comes in the box, and then I'll do some comparisons. This is the box itself and some stats here on the back. Interestingly enough, the power input is 5 to 17 volts. Normally it's just 5 volts only for the USB power connector here on the side. This one has a 155 degree field of view, and it's 1080p 60 frames per second, just like the previous RunCam. Okay, so here's everything that comes in the box. You get the manual, the camera, you get a USB cable for charging and data syncing. You get an OSD cable here to connect up for FPV if you want to. You get 6 of these straps. These are 2 of these larger black ones with silicone backing, which is kind of nice. And then you get 2 more smaller sizes. Here's like a medium-sized one. You get 2 of those, and then 2 smaller sized ones. And these are, I think they don't have the silicone backing. You need a couple of Velcro pads there. Now the manual, as usual, manuals from RunCam are very good. No complaints here on the manual. In fact, there's very few differences in terms of the functionality of the new RunCam 3 versus the old RunCam 2. Obviously the form factor is very different, but in terms of turning it on, setting up the different modes, Wi-Fi and all that, it's pretty much the same. And even the upgrade process is the same. I have a video on the firmware upgrade process. I'll put in the corner here if you ever need that. Currently there is no firmware upgrade since it just came out. It's still on version 1.0. The biggest difference between the new RunCam 3 and the old RunCam 2 in terms of the firmware and features is that the RunCam 3 now has wide dynamic range that you can now turn on for handling different lighting situations. There's especially lighting situations that change very drastically in a short period of time, especially like during certain times of day, like during the sunset. Now, comparing this to the actual GoPro Session here, it's the Hero 5. Obviously, you can see here that the size is very, very close, if not the exact same. Actually, you will measure this with a caliper, and there's very, very slight differences here, but it's pretty close. But the thing about the RunCam 3 versus the Session is that it won't fit every type of mount, and I'll show you one really obvious example where it won't fit. So here is the actual mount for the original Session 5. This actually comes with the Session 5. It's a camera mount, and normally you would just slide the camera in like this, and then it would just lock down very easily, and you could either hook this up to a tripod like so. The RunCam 3 does not fit in here. I cannot get this to lock down no matter what, and I think it has nothing to do with the fact that the size is incorrect, and I think it has to do with the way the edges are beveled and the way it locks in. The RunCam 3 is a little bit bigger, and another way I can show you how it's bigger is that in this TPU camera mount here that I've got, that I've been using with my Session 5, no problem. It is a snug fit. I can get it in there. Getting the RunCam 3 in here is quite a lot more challenging. I am able to get it in there, but it's much more difficult, and because this is slightly larger, the mounting itself gets all kind of warped out of shape, and the edges here kind of get pulled off to the side because it's being stretched out so much. So you should be aware that if you are getting certain kind of mounts for your mini quad for the RunCam 3, yes, it's supposed to fit the ones for the GoPro Hero 5 session or the Hero 4 session, but it might be a tight fit depending upon the actual mount you have. Now, if you're using some different mounts, this might not be the case. It just happens to be the case for the one that I happen to have. Okay, I'll go ahead and show you some actual measurements here of the session, and it comes in at 38 by 37.9 by 36.3. Here's the RunCam 3, 37.9, 38.1, and 37.2. Okay, so here's a weight measurement of the RunCam 3. Comes in at 66.7, and the session comes in at 71.7, so about 5 grams heavier. Okay, so give you a closer look at the camera itself. You have a glass front here that protects the lens itself. This is very similar to the way the Session works. There's a glass front here. There are these stick-on glass protectors that are very commonly used on the Session. It has this kind of odd shape with the corner cut off here. Obviously the shape is different for the RunCam 3, but I imagine that these will fit just fine, although the edges will be different because the shape is a little bit different. Now, I don't know if there are any replacement glass covers here for this camera. I didn't see that anywhere in the manual, but Albert from the future here, and I was able to find some accessories at the RunCam website, additional glass protectors as well as some additional mounting options. So go ahead and check out their website, and I'll put links in the description for those. I suspect at some point that those might be available, because this is probably one of the things that'll break or crack in a crash right away. So it'd be nice to have some spares of this. It would have been nice if they actually sold those or actually included those in the box itself, but I'm not sure, based on looking at this, how easy that would be to change. It would have been nice to have maybe some screws here for that. Maybe that's something that they could do in a design update. The RunCam 3 is not waterproof, unlike the Session 5. This is, I don't know, I'm not exactly sure what it's waterproof to. I think it's maybe 30 feet, I think. But it's completely sealed. And you can, obviously I've used it in the rain, no problem. You obviously can't use this one in the rain because it's exposed here on the side from the USB port. There's a cover here for the micro SD card, and it's got this little sort of like rubber flap here you kind of pull up on till you get the expose the card slot. Now there was, I guess, some issues with the prototype of the RunCam 3 where the card would fall into the side, and I checked that, and they put in a piece of plastic here so that if you try and put it in at a funny angle, it doesn't get stuck inside the camera. So I think they've addressed that issue. I didn't have any problems with the card not going in properly, so it went in okay. Here's a look at the back of the camera. You got a Wi-Fi and mode switch button here in the back. There's a microphone over here. There's a little light here that gives you a status indication, as well as a status indication light on the power button, and there's also a secondary mic here as well. I'm expecting the audio to be better. Hopefully they've improved that over the RunCam 2, which was not very good at all. But in terms of turning it on and the functions of the camera itself is the same as the RunCam 2. Press and hold the power button to turn it on. The light turns blue, and then to start recording, you just press the button again. It beeps, and then it'll start flashing, and then you know that you're recording. And then if you want to stop recording, you just press the button again. If you want to connect to this through the Wi-Fi on the app, you just press this button here. If you short press it, it'll turn the Wi-Fi on. If you long press it, it'll change modes from video to photo. So I'll just go ahead and we'll turn the Wi-Fi on, and then the little Wi-Fi button, the Wi-Fi indicator will start flashing. And then you can go to your phone. And then you can go to your phone here and go to your Wi-Fi settings. And you want to connect to RunCam 3. The password is 12345678890. It's in the manual. Once you're connected, you can go to your RunCam app. It's the same app that you connect to the RunCam 2. and then we'll go ahead and connect it by pressing the button. And now we have a live video feedback. It gives you some warnings about not knowing what this is because it's so new. I think that they need to update the app to recognize the RunCam 3. However, probably by the time you see this video, a new version of this app will be in the Play Store, and it'll automatically update, so you won't get those warnings. To see the settings here, hit the settings button, and you see this feature here is called wide dynamic range. That's going to be turned on by default, and I think that's the biggest difference between this firmware and the old RunCam 2 firmware, is this feature, which is something that was I think was needed for a long time and wasn't available on the old firmware. I think that's going to improve the image quality of the videos coming out of this. And there's the current firmware version, March 15th, version 1.0. But as you can see, all the same features and functions of the app are all working for the RunCam 3, just like it did for the RunCam 2. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get some video samples of these two guys, the Session and the RunCam 3, in various lighting situations, dark, light, good and bad, and we'll do some side-by-side comparisons here. Okay guys, so I'm going to be testing out the RunCam 3 against the GoPro Session, and I'll put the screenshots of the settings for both of these. Basically, the RunCam 3 is going to be stock except for the wide dynamic range is turned off, which is what they're recommending in midday sunny conditions. They're only recommending turning on the wide dynamic range for low light or cloudy conditions, or maybe like early in the day or late in the day for sunrise or sunset. The GoPro is going to be pretty much stock. Both of them are 60 frames per second. I think I've got the Pro Tune turned on this one with the GoPro color settings, so I'll have a pretty good idea what the out of the box color settings like. I'm not going to do any kind of post processing on the video at all, so you'll see what the actual video is coming out with these settings.